Matt Mean here for IrishBoxing.com with Cian Reddy. Cian, good afternoon. How's things going?
Lost you there, Matt. Sorry, I lost you halfway.
Matt Mean here for IrishBoxing.com with Cian Reddy. Cian, good afternoon. How's it going?
All good, man. No, I hear you perfect. No, all
Yeah,
good. How are you?
good, good. We'll get straight into it. Newly turned pro with the man Ian Gaughran. Just talk me through. How did this pro move come on?
I always wanted to turn pro since I was a young lad, since I was a chap, and growing up and looking at the pros, especially the Irish lads, and looking at them and seeing how well they were doing. And then as I got a bit older, starting to spar a few of the pros and having the likes of TJ Doherty in Portlaoise Boxing Club where I was as an amateur, I looked up to him and getting to spar with him. And then when I got a little bit older again, kind of 18, 19, 20, I was sparring a lot of the pros around Ireland. And I never felt out of place. I never felt uncomfortable, like, oh, I shouldn't be here. I never felt that way. So I always looked at it for myself, and I never wanted to look back on my life and say I was this lad's sparring partner or this lad's sparring partner. I wanted to be able to have something for myself and do it myself.
14 time champion, if I'm correct, in the amateurs.
Yeah, not nationals, international championships,
International,
so
yeah,
different box.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like won the Celtic Box Cup a few times in Ireland, Smithfield, and then a lot. I had a lot of international fights, in Spain and Poland and all around Europe. I boxed some class places, in America a few times, and Scotland, and got to travel a lot. And yeah, I was lucky that way. Look, I don't. Maybe I felt like I actually underachieved a little bit for my abilities in the amateurs. Just unlucky in a few national finals, but always looked at the bigger picture and stayed consistent with it. And stayed with it. Never took any breaks. You hear of lads taking a 3 or 4 year break when they're 17, 18. Then they're playing catch up. I just stayed with it, took the losses on the chin, and yeah.
With Ian Gaughran, how did that move come about with Ian? And Ian, he's a great lad. I was talking to Ian actually on Friday at the Jay Byrne show. We having great crack together. But how did the Ian move come about?
Yeah, I was up there on Friday as well, actually. So me and Ian, when I decided I wanted to go pro, I went to Unit 3 in Nace, where I'm training, where Gary Cully, Paul Lunham, and all the boys are training. Great club there, great setup. And I had said to Niall about that I was looking at going pro, and he said, at the time I was looking at England because I just thought at the time there wasn't as many shows going on in Ireland, and they were a little bit inconsistent. Like, you hear of a lot of Irish lads being pulled from shows, and I was looking at England, and then Niall kind of said, "Did you have you chatted to Ian?" So I gave him a ring. We talked for about an hour on the phone. At the time, I was still half convinced. No, I'm going to go to England. But after a while, like, things, not that they didn't work out, I just kind of a bit of a change of plan, and I just said, yeah, I'll go with Ian, and we train together. Well, I train, he comes training, but no, I'm living the crack. No, Ian's 100%. He's a lovely fella, and I think I made the right decision going with him.
With the pro debut, soon enough, can you announce anything at all that you can announce at all about where it's going to be, what date at all, and who's going to be standing across the ring from you?
I wish I could. They're working on it, getting me out this summer, trying to get a big one in this summer. Regardless of whether that comes true or not, I think I will be out this summer either way. Ian will get me out, and I have no idea of who's going to be who I'm going to be boxing out. Probably won't figure that out for a week or two before, but I wish I actually knew more myself. But I know Ian is working behind the scenes, and he'll do everything he can to get me on the big show this summer.
Is there any goals at all that you want to achieve during your pro career within the first few fights at all? A Celtic title or an Irish title or anything like that? Even you've set your mind to it all?
Over next year, now I'm just looking at getting in a few fights. I'd like to get in three before the end of the year. I'm taking it one at a time. Everything long term, all my goals long term rely on me getting through the short term goals. So, I'd like to get maybe three this year. After the debut, obviously have a couple of more, and then look at where we are from there. I'd like to have a homecoming in Leash as well, like same as Brandon once won, or Paul and all the boys. So they're Kilkenny and Offaly. I'd love to have one in Laois. I don't think there's ever been a pro boxing event in Laois. Um, I said it in my last one I was having the crack. I said if TJ is able to come through last weekend in Japan, I'll have him on the undercard. So no, I'd love to share a card with TJ before he finishes because could you imagine like a show with TJ being, I think Laois is only, I could be wrong, but I think his Laois is only ever professional boxer, and look how far he's gotten. So to be able to be on a card with him before he finishes will be unbelievable. But if they can't get one in Port I'll head out to Tokyo myself. So yeah.
Where would you put a pro boxing event in the Midlands? Because I'm thinking like Kilkenny, like Nolan Park, maybe. Port like I'm genuinely like, where could you put one in the Midlands?
Last year, Port Boxing Club, they ran an amateur international tournament, and they have done a few times against Poland last year. I think it was a very successful. I was actually boxing in Florida at the time, so I didn't get to fight on it. And I've only done a couple of small club shows and stuff as an amateur in Laois, and you don't really have to sell tickets or anything. You don't need a massive crowd, or you don't need that crowd behind you. So it'd be unbelievable to have a lot of my friends and that supporting me locally in Laois. Like I think the Midlands Park though in Port if we could get it on, that'd be unbelievable. But that is definitely something I'm looking at over next year, that to have that in Laois. So I told Ian he'd want to get a move on with it after this debut.
With TJ, I say you've taken a lot of inspiration from TJ, like the Oriental Rockstar, as myself and the lads have been calling him. He's done some absolutely amazing bits, being on the Inoue undercard, and a great win, and he's 4-0 at the moment in across his last 4 fights in Japan. And what's that been like to like look up to TJ in a way?
Yeah, it's absolutely class to have that, especially when you know him personally as well. You know where he's from. You know you know him as a person. And to see how far he's came. Took a couple of losses at the highest level. People forget how high a level that these boxers are at. He lost to Daniel Roman, Sam Goodman, who's top 2 or 3 in the world now in that way as well, and Conlon. But he's came back with 4 absolutely massive wins. Last week he knocked out an undefeated lad, but before that, I think he was 11-0, and TJ knocked him out in the first round. Like that shows the level he's at, and I'd love to see him and in you before he retires. I think TJ is, he's a nightmare for anybody, and he's just boxing so well at the minute. He's came back from where he was, took a couple of losses, like I said, but had 4 absolutely massive wins, and he's right back up there with some of the top in the world.
Last question. What can we expect to see from Cian Reddy in his pro debut? And I know like nothing's been announced yet, but like what can we expect to see from Cian Reddy?
So I've been working a lot of the stuff I've been working on in the gym, sitting down on my shots, working on them big shots inside, and hopefully when the time comes and when it's announced, I'll be able to show everybody what I can do, that I can box and, like in the amateurs, but now that I've been working on like in fighting the inside as well.
Ian, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Have a good day.
Brilliant, Matt. Thanks very much. Thanks for having me.